Yo guys, Phil here with BLP3 Motors, and today I have a freaking special treat for you guys. Today we are going to be reviewing a Type R, a Honda Civic Type R. But before we get into it, guys, check it out. The merch came in, new t-shirt. Make sure to check the link in the description to pick up your BLP3 Motors t-shirt. Don't hate, accelerate. And guys, please make sure to click that like button and make sure to subscribe if you're new. I appreciate it. But we're gonna go meet up with my buddy Nick and check out his sweet Type R. I'm so pumped. All right, guys, so we are sitting in the Type R, and I have Nick with me and his boy. What's your name, buddy?
Jackson.
And Jackson. So we're gonna take a ride and we're gonna pick his brain. This car is amazing. Definitely way different than my EX. Nick, what year is this?
This is a 2018.
2018 Civic Type R. Well, let's take it for a spin.
All right, let's go.
So you said that you recently did some kind of modification to it, right?
I did.
What have we done?
So the first step, I chose to go the Hondata tune.
Okay.
I worked with the guys at Hondata who were really super nice and helpful, asking them, saying, hey, this is kind of my first tuner. What do you guys suggest? And should I go this route? It's a pretty penny, big chunk of change I could buy and do a lot of things with, it was around 650 bucks. And the guy said, hey man, to be honest, you know, I would go the tune route. I'm not just saying that because I work here, but right. Any other modifications that you do to get the fullest out of the mod, you're going to need to tune. I said, well, can't argue with that. So I went the Hondata tune route, and after that, I ended up going with a MIshimoto air intake.
Okay.
So those are the two mods that I've done thus far. Next on the list is the intercooler.
Now, we were chatting a little early off camera. Now, you've come from some pretty nice cars, and you still have nice things to say about this car in comparison to some of the much more expensive cars.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had BMWs, I've had Mercedes, and I currently still actually have a Mercedes, Jeeps, Yukon Denali, pickup trucks. This car, the first time I got into it, and matter of fact, I drove your car and was just immediately impressed. I mean, even the standard Civic stacked up against my CLA 250, in my opinion, was just a rock solid machine. I mean, shift transitions, the overall durability and the feel of the car, I mean, it rivaled that Mercedes easily. And I mean, I'll tell you, even if I didn't have a Type R, I would heavily consider moving away from Mercedes,
wow,
over to the Civic. Now, granted, that's the price range that you're looking at, right? So
yeah.
mid-30s for the CLA, and you know, low to mid-20s for the standard Civic. But it tells you something about Honda's quality, in my opinion.
Wow. So now you said that you picked this up used. I can't believe you found it used.
Yeah, that was a stroke of luck. You know, I called around to all the dealerships in town, searched within a 250 to 500 mile radius to try and find one new, striking out, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
Just happened to be up at Eskridge Honda on the right day, and the guy by the name of Michael Pfister, is a sales guy up there, called me and said, hey, I've got one coming in. Now, he didn't know it was used. I don't think that it was public knowledge at the time. They just knew that they were getting a Type R in. He calls me. I show up at 10:30. I took an early lunch, drove down there, put a $500 deposit down just so I could test drive it.
Wow.
And immediately fell in love with the car.
Wow.
I had 1,000 miles on it. And the guy trading it in does a bit of circuit racing, and just couldn't get the hang of the front wheel drive.
Right.
So he decided that he was going to trade it in for a Porsche.
Wow.
So lucked out.
Now, a couple things that I've noticed right off the bat just between our cars is, so the seats are definitely bolstered. I feel definitely like I'm sucked into the seats. It's kind of a nice feeling. And obviously this transmission, it looks buttery smooth.
Yeah.
I've seen some I've ridden in cars, and this transmission shifts so well. Now, compared to the other manual cars that you've driven, talk to me about the gearbox.
Yeah, so I think the main thing here is the rev match. So rev match, if you've done any searching on the car, it's a feature that you can turn on and off, but I think it helps those that aren't heel to toe masters, right?
Right.
And it definitely helps with the shift transitions. They're obviously not jerky, right? You can tell. I think it makes people who haven't traditionally driven stick or haven't driven stick in a while,
yeah,
makes them feel like a shift master. So don't take these shift transitions as you know, you've got a pro driver driving you around, but it's the rev matching comes into play quite a bit. Now, the shift points in the car and just the overall transition is fluid. I mean, that was the other thing that really impressed me about the car, was that the ease of the shifting is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm watching your hand go, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that really picks up.
It does. So you're
wow, and I can hear the intake.
The intake, I'm telling you, compared to the OEM intake,
right?
You know, this car, as outlandish as it looks, from an audible perspective, it is the most subdued sports car I've ever driven.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that bugged me.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm gonna get a car like this that looks like this, I want it to sound as mean and upset as it looks, right?
Yeah.
So that was the reason for the air intake. I needed to feel and I needed to hear just the sheer performance.
Sure. It's like just the response.
Yeah.
The audible response. Now, so I'm kind of just looking around the car. So that's really neat that it tells you what gear you're in the top left-hand corner. Mm-hmm. And I believe we're driving in R+ mode, right?
We are.
Okay.
We are.
So I mean, everything for the most part kind of seems very similar to my car, except there are some major differences here. Now, one thing that you've seen in the video a little earlier when I showed the inside of the car is it has this like red trim with the carbon fiber trim on it. It just looks so much nicer. I mean, this looks refined, but yet sporty at the same time, where, I mean, some people will say, hey, this car looks very flashy, but I think that it's very, very refined, yet artistic and sporty enough where it's not that obnoxious, unlike my red spikes on my car. And everyone's judging me for that. Now, with that Hondata, what kind of base map are you running? Are you running an 87 octane, a 91 octane?
91 octane right now is the tune I'll run around in for the most part. 93 I can grab over off Memorial in the city. Okay. When I'm running 93, and I haven't run it yet with the intake, but it is ridiculous. Right. I mean, it's such a strike contrast to running a 91, but you can definitely tell when you're running the car before the tune and after the tune, it makes a world of difference. Wow. So what kind of person is this car perfect for? Oh my gosh, that's a tricky question, because I mean, my wife is kind of funny, coming from German cars, right, and then going and looking at a Honda. She thought I was the last person on the planet to buy a car like this. This car, to me, you know, first of all, you can't find many standards on the market anymore. They're just not there. Yeah. Right. I think someone who just enjoys driving. Yeah. I mean, who really enjoys driving. I mean, for someone who enjoys driving, this car, it meets and exceeds every expectation. Yeah. It's a simple answer, but it's the God's honest truth. Right. If you enjoy driving, this car does not disappoint. Now, one thing I noticed is I don't see any paddle shifters, but I saw paddle shifters in the sport touring, in the sport trims. Do you feel that
paddle shifters are necessary on this car or not?
No, no. Matter of fact, I think it would it would ruin the car.
Okay.
It would ruin the car. I mean, you know, I've had paddle shifters on my German cars.
Right.
Never used them. Right. Never used them. You'd think that they'd be fun and they kind of give you the feel of driving a manual, but they don't. I understand that cars and gearboxes and transmissions are becoming so efficient. Yeah. And it takes away from the performance when you introduce something that's the human element, right? Right. Hence the paddle shifters. But it's just not the same. Right. It's not the same.
Now, we were talking a little earlier about how this car is only offered in a 4-door version. Would you have preferred a 2-door version, or would you have wanted? Do you like the 4-door?
I do, obviously, because I'm a family man, right? Right. You know, it's an interesting question. I haven't really thought about it much. Would I have purchased the car if it was in a 2-door?
Yeah. Because I really do like the look of the 2-door, the coupes. I mean, they look really cool. They just have a different look to them. But I don't know what the Type R would have looked like with 2 doors.
It would have looked sharp. I think I've seen some mock-ups of the 2-door Type R. You know, depending upon, all cars are different, and you look at coupes and how you get in and out, what the seat does when you does it lift up and move forward? Is it just pulling the seat? Right. And the seat move? That probably would have come into play a little bit. Would I probably have bought this car if it was a 2-door? Probably. Yeah. Probably. I mean, we have 2 other cars, both of them 4-door. Right. You know, I don't have a car seat anymore. My kids are old enough to where they can get in the car themselves. Yeah. I think if the kids were younger, car seat, all of that, probably not. Right. But. So, if I gave you $40,000 cash and you didn't have this car, would you get this car over any other car that you can get on a $40,000 range? Yeah. Absolutely, hands down, no question about it. This car, for the money, and I get people are upset and they don't want to pay over sticker. Well, let me ask you a question. If it came out and it was 40, would you have bought the car? The answer is probably yes. People are buying Ford RSs, people are buying Subaru WRX, people are buying Golfs, and those are all exceed by what, between 5,000 and 7,000. Yeah. Yeah. People are buying those cars. Yeah. I think that's the issue that people take is, I'm not paying over sticker. It's just the mental thing of paying over sticker. Right. Would I have paid over sticker? You know, probably. Yeah. Now, if it had gotten a little excessive, no, I'm not paying 60 grand for this car. Right, right. No. Well, I guess, does it feel like a Honda Civic to you, or does it feel like something? It doesn't. It's special. I mean, that, you know, before I bought this car, and we were talking about this earlier, I drove an M4. Right. And I drove an S5. Right. Almost back to back, within a matter of a couple of days. Now, does this thing stack up and, you know, would it beat the pants off of an M4? No, it wouldn't. Was the M4 a blast to drive? Absolutely. But you're comparing cars that are between $70,000 and $80,000 to a car that's $34,500. Right, right. To me, there was just no question. I'm not going to pay, you know, that exorbitant amount of money for a car that I'm having as much fun in. Right. So for the price point that this car is at, what would you have liked to have seen in this car? Wow, it really goes. I love that. Is there a blowout valve? No. Man. No. It's the intake is amazing. I mean, MIshimoto did a I don't know if you guys can, I don't know if it's going to come through the microphone. I have a pretty nice microphone on here, but wow, you guys, like, the car's really talking to you when he steps on it and comes off. It's really... You got the windows down. You can hear just the air being sucked into that box. Yeah. And you let off the clutch, and it's amazing. I mean, you can hear the engine just gobbling up all of that air, right, and then expelling it out when you shift. Yeah. It's amazing. But, so, kind of going back to my question. So, for the price point, do you think they left anything out? Like, what would you wanted to see for what you've paid, or even still, what do you think that could make this car better? I mean, because first off, we're gonna say this car is freaking amazing. This is the coolest Civic. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's the coolest Civic I've ever been in, and like, I'm so envious of this car. I want this car so bad. But like,
What do you think?
Man, you know, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've read a lot of articles on this car. That's one question nobody asks. What would you do differently? What would you add to this car that isn't already here?
Right. I mean, and it's not something that would be more aftermarket-y. It'd be something that would have made sense integrated into the car.
Well, I think the back seat is one thing.
Okay.
You know, the back seat, to me, I get it. It's efficient. The seats split. They'll fold down. Increase cargo capacity. For me, that was a buying feature.
Right.
But had the seats not split and folded, would I have still bought the car? Absolutely. There should be buckets.
Right.
There should be something that resembles buckets in the back seat. They took the back seat out of a regular Civic and stuck it in the back of this car and put red seat belts, right? I think it was slightly unfinished, in my opinion.
Do you like the fact that they're black seats back there, or did you want them red?
Coming from a place of having kids, I'm glad they're black.
Okay, okay.
However, would I have liked them red? I think it would have gone along well with the rest of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, there are not very many luxury elements to this car. I'm noticing that there's no sunroof.
Right.
I mean, I think there's some type of plastic in the car. I mean, do you miss that driving this car? I mean,
No.
like, or just the thrill of having this car and the experience just overshadow all the luxury elements?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number one, there's not a sunroof because it adds 500 to 600 pounds to the car.
I did not know that.
The roof, yeah. So when I did my research and realized that, I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? No, I don't. I don't miss. The seats are fixed. We were talking about this earlier. The seats are fixed. There's no adjustability. That's kind of what makes the car even more amazing is the driving position, the way the seats are bolstered. I mean, all of it just feels right for me personally.
Right.
You know, what other features? Blind spot indicators. That was a little bit of an irritant, to be honest with you. I don't know how much weight having blind spot indicators added to the car actually does, but
do you have the turning lane camera?
No.
Okay, okay. That was one thing I looked for that wasn't there. Okay.
Yeah, so the camera parts, yes, you know, those are little elements that you do miss driving even a regular Civic.
Yeah, but it does have a backup camera though, right?
It does have a backup camera.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah. I got spoiled with mine.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, guys, I'm going to have to say, if you have not sat in the Honda Civic Type R, you need to sit in this car because there really is something special about this car, and I'm in envy. And it pulls like nobody's business. I know that I haven't felt this car stock, but I mean, with the Hondata, which I totally recommend getting on this car, it throws you back in your seat. I mean, like, it's something special. But Nick, I mean, thank you so much for just taking the time to hang out with us and show off your awesome Civic.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And we're about to come up to a little twisty turn up here, and I'll kind of highlight the handling portion of the car where the body roll is virtually non-existent.
Wow.
And that's something that even now in my Mercedes, again, granted, it's a base Mercedes, I get it, but the whole car shifts and rolls and leans and creaks, and in this car, it does nothing of the sort. So again, one of just the kind of the impressive aspects of the car. We were talking about the handling earlier, right?
Right.
I mean, it is absolutely amazing. And so we're gonna get past the stop sign up here and then kind of roll under these trees coming up ahead. Okay. And it'll kind of take you around a nice little bank. And
I'm whipping out my cell phone, guys, and I'm gonna get this on camera so you guys can kind of get a little point of view. It might be a little shaky, but you know what? We're low budget here.
Get through it and get on it here in a second.
Wow. Oh, he just sent it. Oh, wow. Ah.
You can hold that camera steady.
Yeah, that's no way I'm holding the steady. Wow. How fast were we going?
We may or may not have been going 70.
I didn't even feel it. I didn't even feel it.
I know. I've had this thing up to, may or may not have had it up to 140, and you don't feel it.
Here's a windy part right here. We're coming up.
30 mile an hour curve.
30 mile an hour curve, guys, right here. Oh my God.
So we took that at about 55.
That is unreal. That is unreal. This car does not want to come off the pavement. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. Wow. Wow, wow. I mean, if there wasn't a selling point for this car, oh my gosh.
It feels like you're about to fall off the road.
No. No way. Wow. Now that is something.
I'm telling you. It is just unbelievably impressive. The way the car takes everything effortlessly.
Yeah.
And in a front-wheel drive car, no less. And that was the other thing. You read up and people are bashing it. Oh, well, again, add all-wheel drive to this car, it becomes remarkably heavier.
Right.
Okay? It's a 2,998-pound car, which, to put it in perspective, is actually only, I think, between 500 and 650 pounds heavier than a Miata.
Wow. Yeah. So, by the way that we just took that turn, for the dollar amount, what is the next best comparison that can actually take it as well?
I don't know. That's another good question. I actually told my wife I wanted to go to Subaru, I wanted to go to VW, and I wanted to go grab an RS, and I wanted to drive them to see.
Right.
Because again, I'm comparing it to ultra luxury M4s,
yeah.
S5s. I've driven an R8. I've driven a Mercedes AMG GT.
Right.
Nothing to take away from any of those cars. They're all impressive. And if somebody gave me one, hell yeah, I'd put it in my garage, right?
Yeah.
And I'd drive the crap out of it. But for the buck, you can't beat the car.
That's
it drives with the utmost confidence. I mean, you were not concerned at all.
I mean, like me knowing, I knew you were taking that turn really quick, but I mean, I didn't feel scared. Like, it felt planted. It felt planted. I can honestly say that I have never been in a car that's taken a turn like that. I've always felt like the car was going to give out in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the car was about to like tip over.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I think normally it would, and I probably would have taken that turn just a hair bit faster.
Right.
But this thing needs new tires.
Yeah, yeah.
Here pretty soon. So another one of the kind of takeaways, but you'd buy a car like this, you're gonna run super soft tires and they don't have much of a lifespan, right? But I'm gonna tell you, when I first got this car and it didn't have the amount of miles on the tires, because I mean, literally they're gonna need to be changed within the month.
Wow.
They stuck, and they stuck hard.
Wow.
What I should have done is, we're gonna hop on the highway, and then you can kind of feel the full acceleration before we head back, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, the tires are amazing. I was considering going to Michelin Cups. They're more expensive than the Sport Connies that are on the car that they came with. But I may stick with the same tires. Another thing I may do is go from the 20s down to 18s.
Oh, really?
There's a couple of reasons why for that too, but that's way down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm looking at getting a couple of other things done first, but weight reduction is one of them. Having the choice of tires, right? I mean, if I take this car to the track, I'm gonna wanna have and run the same type of tires that are on the car.
Yeah. So you just have a track set of cars. Track set of tires.
Yeah, just keep the 20s and the Contis on.
Yeah.
Get a pair or a set of 18s and some regular tires to where I don't have to worry about it.
Guys, I cannot stress enough how special this car is. You sit in this car and you know that you're sitting in something special.
Absolutely.
It's crazy because it reminds me of my Civic, but it is not my Civic, and I'm so glad that it's not. Well, we're about to get onto the highway here. Oh my gosh. Wow.
90.
I can't believe we're in a 4-cylinder car. That's insane. That is insane. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Nick, thank you so much for being on the channel and sharing this beautiful car with you guys. If you guys have not already liked this video, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe if you're new, and guys, make sure to pick up a t-shirt. These are new. The link is in the description.
I should have got one of those and wore it today.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Well, he's going to get one. He's going to be on and back. We may actually review maybe another one of your cars someday. But again, thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure to watch some more videos, and let's have a conversation in the comment section. See you guys later.